Welcome to Violet Crush Month 5. I have pre-assembled some of the pieces because my ironing surface is not really large enough to show you correctly. So I'm only going to do one set of the strips. I do have one block completed, so we'll work on making block 5B. So let's start by making one of Unit 1C. That requires 2 strips. I have everything once again laid out and labeled. We're going to use 2 strips of fabric E and 1 of fabric B. This is just normal sewing the strips together, and I suppose they had you do short strips so that you didn't have so much fabric to deal with. So we'll sew these. Make sure your edges are even. Let's put one of our enders on. Remember, we use leaders and enders to keep our fabric from being pulled down in the hole where the feed dogs are. Saves a lot of aggravation. You don't have to worry about pulling on your piece, so you're not stretching it out of shape. We're going to put the other B or E on the side of B. Please remember to check your 1/4 inch seam. Check your bobbin. You don't want to be halfway through one of these strips and run out of bobbin. I like to use pre-wound bobbins, and so far on this quilt I'm on my 2nd bobbin. Now we'll try to do our best to show you how to press. For these, it really doesn't matter if you press your seams all one direction or spread them out. I kind of like to do them this way. So I'm going to press in from this direction. And yes, for this I have 2 ironing stations set up, 2 cutting stations set up. Now to continue on, we need to cut these into 6.5 inch pieces. First, check your piece to make sure it's 6.5, because sometimes if you don't get your pressing just right, it will appear a little short. This one is good. I'm going to line up one of these lines along this bottom line and trim up the edge. Need a larger ruler, but I don't have one over here. And I know you should never trim that way, but that's the best I can do right now. So we're going to line this up again to the edge. Sorry, I have to get in the video. And then we're going to cut 6.5 inch strips. You should be able to get 3 out of each section. And you have to press hard enough to get through all the seams. So you're going to have this is unit A. I don't have a unit B, I don't think. Yes, I do. Sorry. These are unit B's. And this will be your unit C. Now we're going to go on to the next step. This I'm going to tell you to be sure. Look at your instructions. Look at the placement of each of your squares. It's very easy to get confused. It's also very easy to turn these strips the wrong way. Don't ask me how I know that, but I got to remake one block. Okay, now we're going to make everything we need for this block, which is 1 unit 2D, 2 units 2B, and 1 unit 2F. Look at your list here. You will have to continually go back to that to get these correct. So we're going to start with unit 2D. 2D says that we need to use a J and a D fabric. These two fabrics are so similar. Be extremely careful as to what you have where. And the best way I can tell you to tell the difference is D is just little swirls. J has little scallops. Looks like little ruffles. So we're going to start by marking a diagonal line on each of these. And I promise when you get to this point, you're going to start recognizing which fabric you're working with. So let's get these marked. And yes, we are having storms today, so you will probably hear some thunder and rain. I'm trying to get all of these done up before this hurricane hits. This is fabric J. This is fabric D. I'm going to leave the label on that one. Get this out of our way. Pay attention to the direction of this piece. Make sure your lines are going this direction. We're going to put this in the top corner because this is where it says to put unit J. We're only going to do one at a time. If you're very comfortable, you can sew both pieces at once, but just don't try to push yourself. There's just 4 of each of these blocks, and they go pretty fast. So we're going to sew on the line. To move my cutting mat for a second. I'm going to press our seam down. We're going to put this on our cutting board. And trim 1/4 inch from your stitched line. Move this again. Press this open. Let your iron do the work. Now we're going to place our fabric D in this corner. Stitch on the line. Same thing again. Press our seam. Quarter inch to the right of the seam. Press open. Now, it's a good idea on these, especially if you're chain sewing and trying to do all 4 of them at once, to go ahead and label each corner. I'm just going to tear a post-it in half so I can mark each corner, so that I know which is J and which is D. It's J and D. Let's find some clips. Those are sticky, but moving them around, they're going to fall off. So there's that. Now let's lay it aside and work on our other 3 pieces that we need. And let me turn my phone to silent so we don't have to keep hearing it. Now we're going to work on our 2 unit B's. I have those laid out. That uses a unit 1A, and your instructions will show you which unit is of stripes that you're going to be using. So we're using 1A. We're going to make 2 of those, and that is using fabric D and fabric L. So let's get those all 4 pieces marked. That way we can do 2 blocks at once. That piece needs a little pressing. corner to corner. Make sure you get your line in the corner. Because it's really easy for some of these rulers to slide, even though I'm using my sandpaper board where the fabric won't slide. Move all of this out of our way. Make sure our stripes are going in the correct direction. Excuse me. We're going to sew down our fabric D first. So it goes in the corner. Line up all your edges. Sew on the line. Remember, we have to have 2 of these. So we're going to sew both of them at the same time. And it sounds like I might be just about ready for a new needle. Rule of thumb is to change needles with every project, but doing all of this batik, I would change my needle halfway through. Press our seams. Now we're going to trim. And this is just the smartest way to do it, because if you try to leave this one on here and then sew that one on, you're going to catch the corner. We do not like unsewing. Trim. Trim. Put this away. This is not the way you will work at home, but I'm just trying to keep everything convenient so I don't have to bounce around with the camera, because I know a lot of people have issues with migraines and other things if they get moved too quickly, so I try to set it up to be friendly to everyone. Now we're going to do our fabric L. And at this, when you're doing these, you can kind of look and see which side of the fabric you would rather to show. It being batik, it's very easy to see both sides. I really have enjoyed working with this fabric. It has been very nice. After we get this block done, we're over halfway. And if there's anything that I haven't explained well enough or you need a little more information, feel free to contact me on the Facebook page. And if that's not enough, we can exchange phone numbers and have a conversation. Most of these are very easy. They really, I don't think, require a lot of instruction. But there's a lot of parts and a lot of pieces in each block. So just go slow and easy. Enjoy what you're doing. Just think, shortly we get to see, I get to see the finished product before you do, but we'll get it all worked out. Press these open. Once again, we're going to label our pieces so that we know where we need to put them. Because truthfully, you should make all of your units of everything and then start putting together. But that would take a lot of filming time, and I don't think you want to sit here and watch me. It's fabric D and fabric L. So we're going to put D and L. Let's see if I have some more clips. We're going to make one more block, and then we're going to assemble a block 5B. Put that to the side. Now we need one of unit 2F. 2F is a unit 1C, which is what we just did, this block. It gets an L and a K, which I already have them pulled out. We just need one of those. Wrong board. You could do it that way, but I really prefer this so that it doesn't slide. Crooked lines are not much fun to work with. And I realize that I'm probably using a lot of tools that you don't have, but that doesn't mean you can't do it with what you have. I've been collecting tools for a lot of years. Okay, fabric L, fabric K. Let's look at it again. L goes in the top corner, K goes in the bottom. Let's stitch this together. And as I've said before, if you're a pinner, you can pin the pieces together. I just prefer to wing it and hold the fabric down. Okay, let's snip this off. Snip that off. Yes, I have a large pile of those little triangles by now. But I'm not going to have any scrap. I'm going to have lots of little probably end up being 1-inch square. Press it open. Place K on the opposite corner. There's been some really interesting ways to put blocks together with this quilt. This is by far the most involved quilt I think I've ever done. I thought the Labyrinth Walk was pretty intense, but this one has been really fun. Okay, let's see what we have here. Press. Trim. Let's put this out of our way. And press. Okay, we are ready to do our final assembly. We know this is unit 2F. So we got the light at the top, the darker one goes on the bottom. It would be better if they showed you exactly, but when you look at this, look at unit 2F, L goes to the top, K goes to the bottom. So let's find our other pieces. We have 2B. 2B shows D at the top and L at the bottom. So one goes here. And one goes there. And then we need our unit 2D. Once again, 2D, J at the top, D at the bottom. Just like that. Now we're ready to assemble these. I'm going to flip this one over to here. And you don't have to worry about joining seams this time because you're sewing a seam to a solid piece. And my voice is not real happy this morning. There's that one. And now we're going to sew this one. I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. These are beautiful blocks. And they're very easy to put together. They just have more pieces than what we're normally used to. But that's what it takes to make the quilt. Okay. Put that back up there. And this back here. Let's look one more time to make sure we've got everybody in the right place. We don't. I turned it around. I had it right and then I flipped it. Okay. Now we're going to flip these. I'm not going to press first because I want to be able to lock this center seam. And then we'll press. Pressing is very important. I don't care what block you're making, what you're sewing. If you don't press as you go, you don't have as nice a finished product. And I think we discussed using the little roller in the other way of pressing. I don't like to do that on this block. It's okay in some instances, but I found that it really stretches the fabric, and we don't want that. And in case you don't understand what I'm talking about these two items. This one you can roll it, and this one you press on it. I just don't like using those for this. A hot iron, not steam iron, just a hot iron works best. I never put steam in my iron. I've had too many irons get messed up because of it, even though you use spring water or distilled water. I don't like an iron spitting dirty water on my projects. Okay, we're going to do the same thing we've done before with our other blocks. We're going to flip these seams. One up, one down. See the little four patch there? Then we're going to press, finger press the direction you want your seams to go. And then we're going to take the iron and press those directions. We're going to have a much flatter, nicer looking block that I think you'll be happy with. I still like to go ahead and flip it and look, because see, sometimes the seams don't always cooperate. So press from the back in the direction you want them to be. And we are pressing, not ironing. Just slide your iron over and hold it. Get another press from the top. Okay, this pretty block is number 5B. You need 4 of those. And this block is 5A. You need 4 of those. And as you can see, where we locked our seams, our points, we didn't lose anything in the center. And that makes a big difference at the end of the day. That takes care of month 5. See you in a little bit for month 6. Thank you.